You know, I live in Singapore. The airport was empty. Now there are a few flights a day. So things are getting better, but they're still not anywhere near what they were before. And that's happening all over the world because we're going from 0 to, I don't know how far we're going. You know, so for a while, the economy in the US is going to get better, and certainly the markets, as long as they print all this money. Now, November, the markets were very strong. Maybe we'll have a pullback, but if so, you know, then Washington is going to panic and do everything they can to get the markets up again. But that's true in several other countries around the world. Many stocks in the US are down in 2020. There are a few stocks that are going through the roof every day. I mean, some parts of the US market are developing a market, beginning of a bubble, but many parts of the market are not. That's why I would suspect this is going to go on for a while, because it's not a full-fledged bubble yet. It isn't. It's beginning to be in some stocks and in other countries as well, China and the US. And I don't know anywhere where there's a full-fledged bubble yet in any stock market around the world. The bond market is a bubble. Bond market all over the world is a bubble, but I don't know any stock market that's a full-fledged bubble yet.
Are there particular markets around the world that you would prefer? If you looked at emerging markets, for example, versus domestic markets, how would you rate those securities around the world?
I buy Japanese ETFs. The Japanese market is down 30% from its all-time high. And the Bank of Japan buys ETFs. It prints huge amounts of money and buys ETFs every day. David, he has more money than I do. If he's going to buy ETFs, so am I, and the market's down. Likewise in China, the Chinese market is down 30 or 40% from its all-time high. You know, and they've done a less bad job of dealing with all of this. So China, Japan, Russia's hated. There are markets that are still down, and I would prefer to buy those. But you know, they're also, I mean, commodities. Commodities may be the cheapest asset class around right now.
If you looked at developments, one of the major developments is a vaccine for COVID-19 that is in the works of being rolled out. Several companies have already developed vaccines. The markets have ingested this as good news for the most part. But some economists are still skeptical as to how effective this vaccine could be in the initial phases of the first couple quarters, for example, of 2021. Do you think that this news, the vaccine news, will have any significant impact on domestic markets in particular?
It already has. I mean, I'm not the only one who knows that there are vaccines being rolled out. It certainly will take a while to vaccinate people. You know, there are 6 billion people in the world, so it'll certainly take a long time to vaccinate everybody. So yes, it's good news. Yes, it's happening. Yes, it will make things better, but yes, it will take time. What I said was, we've had bear markets periodically for hundreds of years. We will have them again. In 2008, we had a bear market because of too much debt. So what I said was, the next time we have a bear market, and I don't know when it's going to be, but when it comes, it's going to be the worst in my lifetime. It has to be. But the debt is so much, much, much higher all over the world now than in 2008. When markets start going down, when bear markets start for whatever reason, people are very skeptical of companies that have a lot of debt, because that's fear. As exuberance gives way to fear, people start worrying about, will they survive, or can they survive, or their earnings must go down because they have so much debt. And some companies start going bankrupt, the really bad ones, and it spreads. I mean, this is just a simple bear market now. I'm not making any of this up. It's happened hundreds of times in bear markets all over the world throughout history, and that's the way they work.
Before we continue, help us by smashing that YouTube like button and subscribe now to this channel. This shows the algorithm that you value the information, and it helps us spread this message. Sharing is caring. Please like and subscribe now. Thank you. And now, let's continue.
How should we be allocating our assets in preparation?
Well, everybody should allocate their assets in what they themselves know. They shouldn't be listening to me or anybody else. They should only invest in what they know. Everybody should invest in what they know, should not listen to others, and then they will know how to get through any problems that develop.
Can you walk us through the process of identifying a security that you think is undervalued? You already mentioned some of the things already.
I told you, the virus has closed restaurants and bars and everything else. So conceivably, these stocks will go up again when people start going out. As far as I can tell, they have good products. But I don't just invest in stocks. Bonds, I short. I'm not short bonds right now, but commodities, currencies. As I look around the world, bonds are a bubble. Many stocks are making all-time highs. Property in many countries is certainly in a bubble. The cheapest asset class I know are commodities. Now, I mean, sugar's down 80%. Silver's down 50% from its all-time high. These are this is not a bubble. As I look at asset classes, at the moment, commodities seem to be the cheapest. I'm buying more commodities as we speak. I was about to go around the world, but I realized that the commodity bull market was about to start. I wanted to invest in an index because I was going to be traveling. I looked at all the indices. None of them were, I wouldn't invest in any of them. They were all hopeless. So I came up with my own. There were over 35 components. And it was basically because I wanted it to be a worldwide index. Many of the indexes were pretty narrow that existed, and they were mainly US centric. I wanted something that would give international, the cost of doing business, the cost of staying alive. So there were over 35 components, and the weightings were essentially based on oil was much heavier than sugar, because we all use a lot more oil than we use sugar in our lives.
How would you define gold today, given today's macroeconomic landscape? What is its role?
David, if gold is a currency, can you go down to the shop and buy bread with gold? I mean, I doubt very seriously if anybody's going to take gold as a currency anywhere, and maybe a few shops, but very, very few in the world. So you can define it as a currency if you want. It really doesn't matter to me. Gold is a commodity which has been around for centuries and will continue to be around for centuries, whether we like it or not. I'm an old peasant, and us old peasants know when things go wrong, we better have some gold. We better have some silver in our closet or under our bed, because it is the thing which will get us through when governments or currencies start having problems. Gold is near its all-time high. I don't know what else I can tell you. It's not making lows. I'm not buying gold. Lots of people are being forced to sell their gold to buy food right now. But I will be buying more gold, and I'll be buying more silver later. I'll buy more silver than gold because silver is much cheaper on a historic basis.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.